In this video, we're going to be looking at fractional indices. This first question is 36 to the power of a half. Now, if we're looking for the power of a half, what that actually means is we square root it. So we've got the square root of 36, which gives us 6. On this next one, we've got 64 to the power of a half. So that means we're finding the square root of 64. And that is 8. Finally, we're looking for the square root of 100. However, you'll notice there's a minus sign in there, and we know that if we've got a negative, it gives us a fraction, so it's 1 over the square root of 100, which gives us 1 over 10. We've got 27 to the power of 1/3. So what that gives us is the cube root of 27. The mistake most people make here is that they divide 27 by 3. Here we want the cube root of 27, which is 3. Now we've got 64 to the power of minus 1/3. So we know that the minus gives us 1 over. Then we're looking for the cube root of 64. So it's 1 over 4. And finally, we've got 216 to the power of minus 1/3. So the minus gives us 1 over. Then we're looking for the cube root of 216. So that gives us 1 over 6. Slightly different this time. We've not got a unit value on top, meaning there's no 1 on top. Here we've got to the power of minus 2/3. So we know the minus gives us 1 over. We do the cube root of 64, and then we square our answer. So we've got 1 over 4 squared, which is 1 over 16. Looking for 1 over the cube root of 1000 squared, which gives us 1 over 10 squared, which is 1 over 100. And finally, notice our numbers are the other way around in the fraction. So we always deal with our denominator first. When there's a 2 as our denominator, we square root it. So we've got 1 over the square root of 49, and then we have to cube our answer. So that would give us 1 over 7 cubed, and that will give us 1 over 343. Now in this question you'll see we've got our denominator of 4, so that means we're looking for the 4th root. So we've got 1 over the 4th root of 16, and then we have to cube our answer. Now if we square root 16 we get 4, and if we square root 4 we get 2. So the 4th root of 16 is 2, and then we have to cube it. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, so it's 1 over 8. So here we're looking at 1 over 3 is our denominator, so we're looking for the cube root of 125 to the power of 4. So the cube root of 125 is 5, so we've got 1 over 5 to the power of 4, which is 1 over 625. And finally, we've got 10,000 to the power of minus 3 over 4. So we've got 1 over the 4th root of 10,000 cubed. Now remember, if you're looking for the 4th root, you square root and then square root again. So that's 1 over 10 cubed, which is 1 over 1000. And finally, we've got fractions. And we're looking for the power of minus a half. Now, because we've got a fraction, what that does is we have to find the reciprocal of that. So the reciprocal of 36 over 49 is 49 over 36 to the power of a half. Now remember, the power of a half means your square root. So that's going to be 7 over 6. And you can leave it as your improper fraction. So 1 over 64 to the power of minus a half. So we find the reciprocal, which is 64 over 1. And we're doing it to the power of a half, which gives us a square root. So that'll be 8 over 1. Now in this case, because we've got 1 as our denominator, we make that a whole number 8 and leave it like that. If ever you have a denominator of 1, you make sure that you write it as the whole number. Now lastly, we've got 1 over 81 to the power of minus 3 over 4. Now the minus means we do the reciprocal, so we've got 81 over 1. And we're doing that to the power of 3 over 4. Now we need to find the fourth root of 81 and the fourth root of 1. Remember, when you find the fourth root, you square root it, and then square root again. So that's going to be giving us 3 over 1. And then we need to cube it, which is 27 over 1. And that will give us a total of just 27.